What did you just recently realize you've been doing incorrectly your whole life? I wear my watch on my right wrist. I'm right-handed. It's just what felt natural to do when I got my first watch. And no, I was not forced to be right-handed by a teacher. People think they are so clever, thinking they know my dominant hand by my watch. They don't know me. They don't know my life. I wear my watch on my non-dominant hand because I feel like wearing it on the other would interfere with activities such as writing. I like to accessorize my left wrist while leaving my right free for the more important tasks such as writing, opening doors, and adjusting my duck in my pants. So while my left looks better, my right is actually more useful. Putting a pillow cover over a pillow. You're supposed to flip the cover inside out then grab the ends of the pillow. Takes 2 seconds instead of 5. Holy crap. So no more of that shake and bake trying to get the pillow fully into the case. Awesome. Today I learned how to put on a pillow cover. You can make those rectangular Chinese tequila holders into plates. And you're just gonna stop there. Methodica? Edit. For all you people asking. How to properly remove food from an oven. I always thought the removable trays were to adjust height, not to pull food out too, so you don't burn your forearms. I'm 30. I fix ovens and I just realized this. But how else do I get all those badass burn scars on my arms? Yeah man, this one is from the pumpkin scone incident of 2013. I can't even visit pumpkin patches anymore because of the flashbacks. I killed a bear by flexing my bicep. Why is it a burn scar? The bear was on fire. Folding clothes. I take them out of the dryer, fold them, then proceed to unfold most of them and hang them up in the closet. I have zero idea how I began to do this. Just didn't even realize the stupidity of it until it was pointed out. My cousin folds all her dirty laundry before she puts it through the wash. Well, that's just wrong. Believing that ponies were young horses. They aren't. Holy shit. Breathing. I didn't know that you're supposed to breathe through your nose. I've always breathed through my mouth. Trying to breathe through my nose feels like I'm breathing through a straw, so I just don't. Now I'm breathing manually. Duck you kindly. I wasn't until now. You're one of those mouth breathers? Fear the worst. Honestly, I spelled my name wrong for years, close to 2 decades. My name is Mitchell, not Michael, the usual common spelling. Since birth, my friends and family have always called me Mickey and or Mike, and that was what I always wrote on forms. Up until I was 18, I had always just written down either of those 2 names, and when applying for jobs, I wrote down Michael, because it was the common spelling of the name. I didn't want to double check with one of my parents and admit that I didn't know how to spell my name, but it wasn't until a few years ago, when I got my actual birth certificate, that I realized I had been spelling it wrong on documents for years. So my driver's license, my ID cards, my debit card, everything, it all says Michael and not Mitchell. My life has been a lie. That's your parents' fault for spelling your name wrong in the first place. Cum disposal. Instead of sock or a tissue you do it on a leaf and then throw the leaf out your window. I call it coming green. Until poor old grandma gets hit with a cum leaf and scars you for life. I just don't see my grandmother scaring me for life. She's kind of old and frail. I feel like I could take her. Pronouncing scene as seen instead of Sean. I blame Scene Bean. I'm either going to pronounce it Scene Bean or Sean Born. Not both. Not both. Sean Bean Born. My car's always had the gas cap attached so it hangs there. New van does not, so I kept putting it on the roof and thinking, I'm going to forget this one day. After many months my neighbor finally introduces me to the thing on the inside of the fuel door that holds the cap. I learned about that from reading the manual. Seriously good stuff in there. According to my ex-boyfriend, everything. The way I wash dishes, the way I shower, the way I sweep. At least you've got being bitted down pat. This was my biggest revelation while in college, so I consider it recent. I bought cereal, and when I opened it at home, I complained about how the box gets super wide at the middle when you open the cereal for the first time. My girlfriend, walks to the box, rubs the sides, and it goes back to being normal. Jaw dropped. Fat box has been solved. So how often do you ask your girl to rub your fat barks now. I realized just 3 weeks ago that my foreskin is supposed to be retractable. It's a good thing I'm still a virgin, or I would have been in for one hell of a disappointment. Dude. Smegma. Unloading a case of beer cans into the fridge. People always set the case of the ground and load them one by one. Instead, open one end of the case. Set the open end all the way to the back of the empty shelf. Open the other end. While holding the case, put your right hand over the exposed beer cans and pull the box out with your left. Bam. Full fridge of beer in less than 3 seconds. Yeah, but loading beer into a fridge one by one is like counting money. I like to rotate them all so they are labeled out. This process takes me at 5 to 10 minutes, and by then, I've drank enough already to not have even rows, so I end up just sitting on the kitchen floor and drinking the entire case. I don't understand why you're taking them out of the box at all. Step 1. Put the case in the fridge. Done. Had to teach a friend the saying play it by ear was not play it by ear. When I first texted her we'll play it by ear, she laughed at me like I was stupid, haha. How to eat a Toblerone. Correct Toblerone etiquette. Refrigerate Toblerone. Insert Toblerone into mouth. Alp sub. Bite down on first alp. Wait for bleeding from pierced roof of mouth to cease. I once asked my parents, if all chickens have feathers, how do the farmers know which ones have dark meat and which ones have light meat? I was 29. I only heard last year that you're supposed to eat kiwis without peeling them. I've always cut them in half and scooped the halves empty with a spoon. Why would anyone eat them unpeeled? Rinsing after brushing my teeth. I grew up brushing and rinsing, only to have my dentist scold me about a year ago that you aren't supposed to rinse out the toothpaste, spit only, because it's still working. Bless my best friend's heart, but for the past 25 years she has been using the caps lock key to capitalize letters when typing. She didn't know what shift was for. I always write the date, day, month, year. It made perfect sense to me, smallest to largest. But for some reason, we Americans write it month, day, year. I've lived here my entire life and I never crossed me that I was reading and writing the date wrong. You're not doing it wrong. Other Americans are doing it wrong. 38 years old here. Tying my shoes. My wife pointed out that I was doing it weird. I thought she was crazy until I realized that I do an extra half rotation around the first loop than is necessary. I felt very silly and tried to change to the more efficient way. Not possible. I've been doing it way too long to change now. I'm forever doomed to a lifetime of extra half loops. I still do bunny ears. I love it. The rest of the world can eat it. For a long time, when I was a kid, I thought the word contents meant explodes. Why, you ask? Because one time I was looking at a bottle of hairspray and I asked my mom what contents under pressure meant, and she answered, it means it might blow up. I was not a smart kid. I had an experience like this. When I was little I heard the word lesbian on TV and I asked my mom what it meant. She said nothing. So I took that to mean that lesbian equals nothing. For about a week I used it as often as I could, thinking I knew a word the other kids didn't know and that I was super smart. So when I eventually got in trouble I finally found out what lesbian really meant. I still cringe. The blue button on hair dryers isn't meant for cooling yourself off when you get hot. It's for setting your hairstyles. A friend of mine laughed for 5 minutes straight when she saw me do it. So that's how you get a cool hairstyle. Drinking water. I've always held the glass to my teeth and sucked water in through my teeth. In response to my complaints about my teeth being cold from water, my friend was like, dude, how are you drinking this water? I then learned that you're supposed to kind of pour it into your mouth. Huh. I'm sorry, but I can't stop laughing. Animal instincts didn't kick in for you at all. I'm a man. I didn't realize what the flap in men's underwear is, so you can pee without unbuttoning your pants. And yet just pulling everything down and flopping it out is so much more comfortable, in my opinion. Pooping. Put your feet on a low stool or small box, like a show box or sterilite plastic bin. Push your chest out and straighten your back. Straightens out the kink in your lower rectum. My prostate thanks me every day. Squat shutting also works, but unless you've been brought up in the custom, good luck with that.